Hello everyone, Brian from Apex Detail. Welcome back. We are going to start a restoration project together. I have owned a C3 once before, sold that before the channel started, so you weren't along with me for the ride for the restoration on that one. This one here is a barn find, and I've been looking for quite some time, and I've been looking for one that was put together. You know, most of them I came across were really torn apart, torn down, parts taken off of it. This thing is pretty much whole. I'm very happy about that, and it seems to be in very good condition, preserved in this barn here. 3 out of the 4 tires are flat. Those tires are mounted on some classic American racing equipment wheels. Those aren't the originals. I will probably be searching for some rallies, but this is a 1974 Chevy Corvette 350 cubic inch 4-speed manual. Red on red. The previous owner mentioned the leak in the fuel pump. That explains the fire extinguisher. So let's pull this thing out carefully and we'll get it back to the shop. I'm going to explain step by step how I go about a restoration like this. First things first, carefully getting out of the barn. Sat for a year, so the gasoline's spoiled. It has to be dropped out of the tank. The filters have to be changed. The fuel pump, the carburetor might have to be rebuilt. But we'll see. We'll take that one step at a time. I would really like to thank Jack Nolan's Towing and the driver here for carefully pulling that out of the barn. They know what they're doing. They have it strapped down. We are ready to head back to the shop. The C3 Corvette was known as the Shark generation. I love curves, and this thing sure has a lot of them. Beautiful car. We really have a solid piece that I believe we picked up here, so the first things first, we need to roll it around to get it in and out of the shop, so we want to pump up the tires and see if they hold. If not, we're going to find some wheels and tires that will hold some air. I will fill you in on the history of the C3, but the total years of production were 1968 to 1982. There were 2-door coupes and 2-door convertibles. The C3 was a complete reimagination of its predecessor. This was a car built during the time of fuel protests and the Vietnam War. The tires pumped up, and we're waiting for them to see if they hold. Let's get some of the barn dirt off of here and get a closer look at the surface. See what we're going to be working with. There are some rough areas here and there. You know, I love to keep original paint, but there will be no avoiding a body shop at some point with some of the panels on this thing. But we're going to take a look and see what we can save, because I love originality on these vehicles. During the time this was built, Chevy was trying to keep up with what Porsche and Lamborghini had out at the time. That was the 911 and the Miura. That was a challenge that would not go unanswered with the engineering team of Bill Mitchell and Frank Winchell. This bad boy here rolled off the assembly line with 350 cubic inches, equaling 250 horsepower, a standard transmission, and came at a cost of $6,001.50. This was the first year with rubber bumpers and the rear spoiler removed. Alright, with the heavy grit rinsed free of the car, we're going to foam it and rinse it a few times before we make contact and do a contact wash. I want to see if there's any areas where we're having problems with fiberglass or the paint is chipping and flaking off, and I want to be careful not to get the wash mitt entangled in one of the edges and make the problem worse. So we're going to be careful, and we're going to foam this up real thick, let it sit as long as I can. We are now starting to fight daylight. It's getting, I really do not like this time of year with daylight falling shorter and shorter every day. It's now at about a little after 7 where we start to get dark now. I'm not a huge fan of that, and I wish it could be fixed, but what are you going to do? So after foamed and rinsed a few times, we can finally do a contact wash. So I'm going to foam it one more time, get as much lubrication on there as I can, since I'm not familiar with the surface, and we use a chenille noodle wash mitt and we go to work. In 1974, there were 37,502 Corvettes built, 32,000 were coupes, 5,400 convertibles. I'm really liking what I see so far with the surface of the car, inside and out. When you do a barn find, you really have to know what you're looking for, and there's a little bit of risk involved. It is a little bit of a gamble. You don't know really the history of the car, how well it runs. This one is not running as of this moment, but we will have it running shortly. It's not going to take a lot to get this running, and you guys are going to be with me as we get it running, as we restore the inside, the outside, the surface, the paint, the wheels, absolutely everything. When it comes to the heart of this beast, there were 3 versions available. The Q3, which is a 350 cubic inch V8. That one was 195 horse, 4-barrel. This one here is the L82, 350 cubic inch V8, 250 horsepower, 4-barrel. Then there was the LS4, that was a 454 cubic inch V8, 270 horsepower, 4-barrel. This one here also happens to be standard. We are really racing against the clock now to get this rinsed off and have a look. I don't know, will we get this rinsed off in time to get a good look at this, or will we have to wait till the next episode? I believe that's what we're going to have to do. Let me know down in the comments section what you think so far. Have we picked up a solid unit? Are you excited to follow along with this series? Have a good day, guys.